welcome. I'm really thrilled to have you here. I'm Alan, and it's that time of the year, the back to school time, and the school reopenings are around the corner. And it's mostly this time when parents and students are in stress. But today, let's take the stress out of the back to school. Yeah, and this is going to be a 45-minute session with a Q&A time. So I also invite all of you to drop in your questions in the chat box, and we'll try and answer them as we go. And what's more, stay till the end because we'll give you your free back to school checklist to download. So stay tuned. And now I have the absolute pleasure to introduce tonight's guest, Ms. Amina from Dunia, which is Dubai and Northern Emirates Homeschool Association, who will talk to us about why planning matters and will provide the checklist for the back to school preparation. So, welcome once again, Ms. Amina, and over to you.
Thank you, Alan. As we enter the second half of August, it's really a great time for everyone to plan ahead before all the chaos of the new academic year begins. Planning now will help you avoid last-minute stress, tech issues, and academic delays. Students who begin with clear routines, goals, and a prepared environment transition more easily and perform better in term one. Let's not forget that after a very long summer break, many students experience summer learning loss. But with a little prep, you can help your child start strong and stay confident. Hugo, on to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Amina. Hi, everybody. I'm Hugo from CambriLearn. Good to be with you here, and it's a pleasure to share this space with my colleague Alan in Dubai and with Amina. So, some of the considerations that parents have to give with going back to school is what is in our checklist, which we'll be sharing, as Alan said. So, first of all, it's the setup of the learning space at home. So keep in mind, parents, to create a quiet, organized study space. Some parents feel it's better to actually have a separate space, not the same spaces where the living happens or where the bedroom is, but maybe a separate designated special space. So there's a separation and kids are aware that they're now going into school mode. And then, of course, remember to prepare basic supplies like have notebooks, flip files, folders, stationery, a calendar so you can have items marked and you can plan out the year, a whiteboard if you into that in terms of writing on a whiteboard, or it might be a pin board where you can pin up critical messages or most important documents. And then perhaps the most important thing that parents can do is to set up a daily routine, because CambriLearn being a highly flexible homeschooling platform, it leaves it up to the individual families to structure their day. So you need to give some thought to how you're going to chart this day and how you're going to give breaks for your children and how you're going to alternate between preferred and less preferred activities. So the home setup is the first thing you need to consider. Then there is also the next step, which is tech. We are an online school after all. So keep in mind that CambriLearn is a blended learning model. So there's prescribed books required. You need to get those as well. And then you actually alternate between on-screen time and off-screen time or paper time. So be sure that you've got a printer ready to print out all the downloads, all the write-on assessments. So of course that means you need Wi-Fi that's reliable. Otherwise you won't be able to access the live streamed classes, be able to download the materials and watch the videos in the recordings, the library recordings. Practice logging in actually onto your online school. Make sure that your device is registered, that you can remember your password or you've saved it, and that your parents can also access their parent dashboard. Get familiar with Zoom. Make sure you've downloaded the app. It's free because all our live stream classes are on Zoom. Okay, so very important. Make sure you can watch our live sessions, our student and teacher-led sessions. Those are all happening on Zoom. Once you've got the tech ready, then of course, let's talk about the academics. So academic preparation is critical. Set 2 or 3 achievable goals when it comes to your academics. So have some milestones, whether it be for a term, for a semester, for a month. You'll see that we do give you pacing charts. So it's very easy for you to set yourself weekly goals, even micro goals. You can set a daily goal, an objective, start out the day, and we do guide you in this. We have a platform with objectives day by day and week by week, and you can actually set yourself mini goals. And then why not book a check-in call periodically with your personal student success consultant? So every student gets assigned a success consultant. By all means, check in with him. Just find out if you're feeling like you're on track or if you've got questions. Review your subject plan. Very important. Start with the end in mind. Go back to the introduction, which lays out the year's objectives, has the curriculum overview. You've immediately got what the assessment objectives are, ultimately how it's going to be assessed. Make sure you're very aware of what the destination is, and then break it down in little goals and work backwards. That's what we recommend in terms of, demystifying the curriculum and making it easier and not so overwhelming for your child. Remember, small wins, little achievements, and then they'll build the confidence of the child for later. Most important, of course, keep in mind the fact that we are highly flexible. So let's talk now how CambriLearn does homeschooling and where this really aids your way of fitting in with your personal values, your personal lifestyle, your family's life. So at CambriLearn, there's no cutoff dates for assessments. Think about that. We're unrivaled in our flexibility. So you can join us at any point in the year. We accept rolling admissions. Your child can start anytime, even today, and we'll help them catch up should they wish to accelerate their learning and not take a full year to complete their curriculum. Because we give you access for a year, but there's nothing to dictate the pace of learning. So you're not obligated to take the full year. That means you could technically do 2 grades in a year, or for those students who need more time, they don't have to be compared to their classmates. They can just take longer than 12 months. Whether you're relocating, if you're just going on holiday, you need a break, or you're just not quite yet ready, you fit your schedule to our curriculum as you please. Enrollment's also simple. We have no barriers to entry. So there's no formal paperwork requirements. You are free to, of course, have a planning call, an onboarding consultation with a student advisor in case you're not sure of what grade level to place your child in. If you'd like to personalize their learning paths, remember, we allow you to mix eclectically, to only take a single subject, to mix curriculums, to have different grade levels across subjects. The world's your oyster here. You've got so much choice because that's what we advocate for homeschooling. And we will share a link at the end of this where you can book your personal consultation for a free student advisement session. Let's talk about now in terms of some of the highlights of our support tools, okay? Because we have a lot of features on our platform, but we can't talk about them all. So we're just going to talk about the ones that are most prominent. The student dashboard. So that's got an interactive timetable. It will actually remind you when classes are scheduled, when it's planned. It'll also remind you of tasks that are due. But again, there's no deadlines. It tracks you in real time, though. This dashboard is available to parents as well. So it allows us to monitor compliance and attendance, and for parents to also do that discreetly. But most of all, it allows you to plan and to get feedback in real time. You don't have to wait for a report card at the end of a term or semester to find out if your child's on track. Keep in mind, of course, that all live sessions are also recorded. So it gives you the flexibility to not have to attend on our schedule. If it doesn't suit your family, just watch the recording. If you've booked to attend that session, we'll automatically send you the raw footage straight afterwards. And then within a week, it's even edited and tagged and indexed so that you can go into our library and view it at your leisure. So now you can search for this year's teacher's delivery of that lesson, or you can go into the library and look at past year's lessons. So that's the power of the synchronicity and asynchronicity of our platform. It's both live and recorded. So you do not have to start the year at a particular point, and you don't have to finish it at a particular point. That's how it works. And all of it is freely available to parents and tutors. So if you're at one of our affiliated tutor centers, or if you're a parent doing this from home, you get access to that content at no charge. Very important that, so that you can help your child prepare for lessons, you can monitor them, you can see their content. Powerful. So that's a little bit about how we work in terms of the features and what support we give you. I would like now to invite you to ask any questions you may have. Let us know how you homeschool, and let us help you supply the tools necessary to set up your child for success. We don't want you to feel alone. We're here to answer your questions. So over to you. Please let us know how we can help you. I have one question already, so let's see. I'm gonna pass this question to you, Amina, if you're happy to answer. My
Okay.
child is not very motivated to go back to school. I mean, that's not uncommon. How can I motivate them, Amina? What would you tell this parent?
I think it's important to build relationships. And so, if you are a brand new homeschooler, try to get connected to a social community. We have a very large, active community in the Northern Emirates. That's from Ras Al Khaimah to Dubai. Join the community so that your child will be able to connect and make friends. You can reach out to parents now. The community members do have close personal relationships with one another. I highly recommend, if you are not a new homeschooler, to bring your child together, perhaps in the first week, with a group of friends and have a back to school party. Plan that. People are always very hyped and excited about the end of the school year. Let's get excited about the beginning of the school year. Have a back to school party. I think that's the best motivation that you can offer.
Wow. Okay, I love that idea. I mean, my head's racing now. I'm thinking like make it a pizza party or something and have
Sure,
people
why
come,
not?
right? Oh, wow. Then another question here. I'm going to pass this to you, Alan, because it's specifically about CambriLearn. How does CambriLearn assist me with making a schedule? I mean, that's a common question, when you have to set up a routine, a structure for your day. Is there an outline that they can use, Alan?
Yeah, now the beauty of Cambrian again is having a structure in the chaos, right? In the having no inflexibility, you get a structure as well. So we have a live calendar. So those who want to follow it, you can have follow the live calendar. We have where you get to know when is your next class. You get to know when is your next Q&A session with the teachers. By the way, you get weekly ones for one subject. You get a completely student led session where you can ask all your questions to the teachers, so you can be well prepared for that as well, and knowing what comes next will help you schedule as well, and you can anytime speak to our teachers with on your support line and plan ahead as well. I think these small amenities that really influence students to have that structure as well while being flexible would be great. I think I answered your question. You want to add something?
Yes, Alan, you did. Thank you. I just want to remind people of what I said earlier. In the introduction to every course, there is a course outline and a pacing chart, like a student calendar, which is based on units of work, not calendar time. So your week one can be at any point in the year. And it does suggest a pace that would allow you to finish the course early. Keep in mind, parents, that this is only 30 weeks of teaching to cover our primary school, Cambridge International, and 40 weeks of teaching at most to cover our American middle school and high school. And then on the British high school, it's 34 weeks long, the curriculum. And yet you get a year to finish it. So you've always got surplus of time in which to have breaks and to do catch up and to do exam revision or to schedule other activities that are not necessarily related to the academics, but enrich the academics, like socials, field trips, experiential stuff. But I do have this question often: is CambriLearn an online school? So it is an online school. We do supply and are accredited with international bodies such as Cognia, Pearson. And so we are able to teach you all the way to certified qualifications. And we do the American, the British International, amongst others. However, we see ourselves as a homeschooling platform because you can take what you need from our platform eclectically. In other words, you're not obligated to take a full grade of subjects. There's no entrance requirements and there's no paperwork requirements. So it's actually easy to begin and to learn with us, and you can then add us to any other resources you might be using. Free resources, another online school. So absolutely, you can use us as a homeschool platform and not feel like you've got to be a school at home, if that helps. I do have something to add to that, though. And Alan, I'd like to call you on this as well. KHDA approval, we know, can only be granted to physical sites. So a lot of our affiliates are KHDA approved and are licensed to support this form of learning. But are we accredited in the UAE? Well, online schools cannot get accreditation because they're not physically based, but our qualifications are. Alan, you want to speak to that a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe it's not necessary as well as per law to be KHTA accredited for an online program school. So, but in terms of writing the exams, it's not going to stop you for appearing the exams, whatever level IGCSE is or A levels, where you can directly write your exams with British Council or British Council accredited schools. So, as per the examinations, writing the examinations are concerned, you don't have any barriers, and like Hugo mentioned, since we are Cognia and Ericsson Pearson accredited, you have that option as well when it comes to British curriculum. So that answers that question.
Thanks, Alan. Well, I mean, I've been asked this before, but I think it bears repeating. The flexibility, how does it impact on the exams? Well, with IGCSE and A levels, those exams are sat, well, with Cambridge twice a year, June or November, and with EdXL, many of the papers are offered 3 times a year, January, June, and November, and they are hosted by British Council in both Abu Dhabi and Dubai. But something to consider, the American curriculum we offer has no external exam site required, all the way from 6th grade to 12th grade. So you can actually sit them at home, no traveling required, no additional exam fees required at all. So it's something to consider if you want the ultimate in flexibility in terms of examination on demand right through, then the American would be the most flexible. Mina, I have a question for you. My child did not achieve great marks this year, and so they've naturally become anxious about the upcoming academic year. How would you deal with that? Like, how would you bridge that gap between the excitement for learning, but also the disappointment of the previous academic year?
Having homeschooled 5 of my own, obviously different age and grade levels, I think that at the beginning of each year, as is very commonly done um, in traditional schools, as a homeschooler, what I would do was I would always begin the year with revision. And so if you were unable during the summer months to spend any time going through any subjects where there was difficulty and where the child was disappointed, perhaps with grade levels. If you were unable during the summer, which of course, many parents, as they should, spend it in vacation and just leave everything so the children can enjoy. So if you did not do any revisions over the summer, just spend the first month or so, 6 weeks even, it's fine. If you're able to take the subjects where there was difficulty and do revision. I highly recommend that. I think in terms of motivating a child who begins the year feeling already deflated, it's important for the parents to make sure that first and foremost, I think grades should not be what we look at first. And I think if we drive that point home to our children, that's very, very important. And so I would start there. Let them know that if you didn't get an A, you didn't get a B, it's perfectly fine. And it's not as important as the system, I'll say, tends to make it so that children feel I'm not the best if I don't have an A. Or I'm disappointed because my assessment marks were below expectation. So really, it is, I think, the parents' responsibility to um, give their child that which is necessary to always feel successful, even if they don't have A's. This is so important. I hope that helps.
That does certainly help. Thank you. In fact, I think you've answered what was going to be my next question. How do we ease into the new year? The first week usually feels frantic. It's difficult to find that sweet spot for concentration, not too much pressure, but, getting them back into school mode. And I think you've answered it. The back to school party, start with revision, and don't be so obsessed with the grades and the previous year. I think you've actually given us some good insights there as a very experienced homeschool mom yourself, Amina,
Thanks.
on how to ease into it, right?
Right.
Take the pressure off. There's no
Absolutely.
deadlines, right? Every child on
Sure.
their own track, in their own time. So
Absolutely.
the first week does not have to be the same length for everybody, for example.
No, for
Really.
sure. I also
Um,
I also
hmm,
recommend parents to sit down with your children, because parents tend to, obviously, we're going to take the reins per se, but if you have children, I'd say grades 4 and above, sit down with your children. They're old enough to sit down and know exactly what the subjects are, and let them choose subjects if you have such a curriculum. Of course,
yes.
it depends on what you're taking, but if the curriculum allows, let the children have a say in what they're learning. That's important for them to see and to pick and choose. And this is also important. So this is something that you can actually do also in the first couple of weeks of school.
I think that's actually a very good point. Give the child agency, give them a sense of mastery over their own learning. So there is a lot of choice in CambriLearn, whether you do the British or the American. There's always electives, or what could be called extracurricular stuff that's not for academic qualifications, purely for fun. Things like coding, social emotional learning, financial literacy. Um, there's so much. So don't feel like you have to limit yourself to, the traditional English, maths, science. Please do things just for fun. Give them the choice. I think that's very important. And then do keep in mind, there's a lot of freedom of choice here. There's nothing compelling you to have to take all the subjects at once. Now, Justine, you did ask a good question. I look forward to meeting with you and my colleague to advise you on how to go back to traditional school with our CambriLearn report card. So we will be able to answer you personally about your question. But here's another good question. And I want to put this to Alan, actually. Alan, if the kids had been moving faster than the traditional school year and studying above their age grade, which is possible, of course, with CambriLearn because it's not age restricted in any way. How does it work with CambriLearn? So I think the parents' concern here is, what if you have to move schools?
Sorry. Yeah, it's a very good question, because on the other side, kids tend to learn slow, but there are other fast learners as well. So the great thing about Cambridge Learn's setup is that since you can take as much time, but you can also go at your own pace and learn faster. So it's a 10 month stand course, but if you want to finish it in 3 or 4 months, wait, you can always pace yourself and go ahead. Like you mentioned earlier, if they want to learn 2 grades in the same year, same academic year, it is very, very much possible, and the support system is there, where you get all the resources necessary. That is doable, absolutely.
I think just keep in mind, Amina, I want to bring you in here. It's not just about intellectual pursuits, right? You've also got to consider the child's emotional maturity. And schooling is about a lot more than just academics, right? So maybe you also need to take the whole picture into account of the child's entire social emotional development. What would you say when it comes to
I
moving
absolutely
faster?
agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. I do believe, though, that obviously you have children that have different ability levels. And if you have a child that moves faster and they tend to grasp the information, then definitely don't hold them back. But at the same time, I mean, obviously, we have children who, graduate and go into university at 11, 12 years old. And those are rare cases, but it is possible. And so if you just find where your child enjoys learning, you could also perhaps add additional subjects to their curriculum. That's also possible. And also consider their social card. They should be having, sports or arts or, tech, something social where they're connecting with other children and participating in outside activities, not just with the secular subjects.
Thank you very much, Amina, for that support. Any more questions from our audience? Because if not, then we're going to move to closing and wrapping up with Alan. But we do have some more invitations to pass to you and some giveaways. So please stay tuned. Do not drop off. But if there are no more questions, then I think we're
I think we
good
have one
to.
more question.
Do we have one more? Okay.
Two more, actually two more. Yeah, in the Q&As.
So is it possible with the live support to pace? I don't know what that means exactly. Oh, okay.
To move quickly,
Yes, it
Hugo.
is. Oh, Amina, yes, this is often confusing to parents. If we're so flexible, how can a child accelerate their learning? Well, because remember, parents, there are recordings available of the entire year. You get the entire curriculum made available to you upfront, which gives you the freedom to go at your own speed. So if you want to go ahead of the class, you don't have to wait for the teacher to present on a topic. You can then just go and watch a recording by either the same teacher in a previous year or a different teacher on the same topic, but ahead of the schedule. Or you can actually just message that teacher directly. Alan did make mention of this. We have direct teacher chat capability where you can actually ask your teacher for personal attention. You can ask them for personalized resources. You can give them your own work to go check ahead of this class. You don't have to be on a particular schedule to be able to chat with your teacher about anything to do with the curriculum. So that's, I think, address all the questions, if I'm not mistaken, Amina. How easy to return to traditional schooling? Okay, so Alan has mentioned that it is accredited, our qualifications, but it depends which traditional school you go to. Amina, do you want to maybe address that? How easy is
Ooh,
it to
do I
return to
have to
traditional?
address that? No. Okay.
Yeah, it's a tricky
So,
one, because it depends
yeah,
where
it
the
is.
school is
It is.
located, right? Which country are you talking about? Are you going back into a private school in the UAE, a public school? So yeah, I think best is
Yeah.
to book a
It really
consultation
depends
with
on the
a.
school. It really
It really
depends on the
does,
school. I mean,
right?
that is the final
Exactly.
answer. Um,
Yeah, I
and you
love it.
have to have the documentation. That's also
Yeah.
very important to make sure that you have some paperwork, you have reports, you have a transcript, and you have something because of obviously the school will be asking you for the child's prior learning. So,
Yes.
but as far as CambriLearn goes, have you had those, situations as of yet where you've had CambriLearn students go back into traditional school in the UAE, Hugo?
We have, I must be honest, they've generally been expats, so they've been going into, private international schools, and then it's not at all difficult because we're doing the private international curriculums. I think it might be more complex if you're going into a public school in the UAE. So then it would be very dependent on the school, and I can't speak definitively on what the requirements would be there.
Okay.
Okay. But I think that's a good opportunity to hand over to Alan to wrap up and tell us about what's coming up, other opportunities to interact with us and to gain something from us. Go ahead, Alan.
Sure, sure, absolutely, absolutely. And I want to thank all of you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, right? And I hope all parents and students that you're feeling more confident and prepared for a smooth, school start. And now it's time to download your back to free checklist. You can see the QR code on the screen. You can just simply scan the QR code. So you can tap your camera on your phones and scan it. It will help you to download our checklist. And I guess that's it. And if you're ready to enroll or you want to know more, you can always book a planning call. You can have it one on one as well. Our team is here for you. And there is something that I want to invite all of you to as well. And this would be for you to take a peek or behind the scenes look at CambriLearn experience. How is it and what do we do? And we have an open house this Thursday. So mark your calendars, guys. This Thursday, the 21st of August at 8. Okay, so you can find the link to the registration when you scan the QR code as well. So make a note of it. This would be an amazing opportunity for all of you to take a sneak peek. And that's it from my side. And thank you once again, all of you. Let's make this your best year yet in school. And remember, with CambriLearn, you are never alone on this. We are here with you. Thank you so much.